At first light, when the horizon is still a thin line of molten gold and the sky holds its breath before waking, the Serengeti reveals itself like an ancient secret unfolding. The wind moves across the endless plains with the softness of a whispered prayer, carrying with it the scent of wild grass, sun-baked earth, and the distant promise of rain. Before the heat begins its slow climb and the dust begins to rise, the land is alive with a quiet symphony. The low grunt of wildebeest, the rustle of zebra herds shifting position, the delicate chirp of weaver birds trembling on acacia branches. It is in these fragile moments of dawn that the pulse of Africa beats the loudest, steady and eternal. A lioness emerges from the tall grass, her silhouette carved sharply against the rising light. Her ribs are visible beneath her tawny coat, not from weakness but from the relentless rhythm of survival that rules every heartbeat in the wild. She moves with the confidence of a creature sculpted for the hunt, each step precise and silent. Her amber eyes sweep the horizon, searching for opportunity, calculating the distance between hunger and hope. Behind her, two cubs follow, their steps unsteady and full of unfiltered curiosity. They tumble over one another, batting at beetles and chasing shadows, unaware of the fragile thread that ties their lives to their mother's success. The lioness pauses, ears twitching. In the distance, a herd of Thompson's gazelles grazes lazily in a patch of greener grass. She lowers her body, muscle by muscle dissolving into the earth, becoming nothing more than a ripple in the waves of dry grass. Her cubs freeze, their instincts awakened by her rigid stillness. The sun climbs higher, the shadows shift, and the world holds its breath around her. Every movement in this land, every step, every heartbeat, is dictated by the ancient laws of predator and prey, laws older than memory and as unyielding as the African sun. Far from the lioness and her cubs, a massive bull elephant trudges across the plains, each step stirring clouds of dust that dance in the air. His tusks are long and gently curved, the ivory worn with age and life's battles. Scars map his hide like the lines of an old storybook. He moves slowly, not from weakness but from a grand, deliberate wisdom. Elephants do not rush. They navigate their world with the patience of creatures who carry centuries of instinct within their minds. Behind him, a family of elephants moves in gentle formation, young calves nestled protectively between their mothers, their trunks swinging like playful pendulums. The matriarch, her own tusks shorter but her eyes far sharper, suddenly halts. She lifts her trunk and inhales deeply, her entire body alert in an instant. The others imitate her, sensing the shift in the wind. There is something in the air, perhaps distant lions, perhaps the scent of water. In the Serengeti, both possibilities demand attention. For elephants, water is the quiet heartbeat of life, pulsing beneath the earth, guiding their ancient migrations. The matriarch rumbles softly, a deep sound that vibrates through the ground. The herd responds immediately, adjusting their path as though following an invisible map carved into their bones. As the sun climbs toward its zenith, the golden plains begin to shimmer with heat. Termite mounds rise like ancient towers, casting short shadows on the cracked earth. Vultures circle patiently overhead, watchmen of the sky, waiting for nature's next inevitable ending. They glide through the air effortlessly, their wings catching the thermals that rise from the ground. In this land, even patience is a survival strategy. Near a cluster of thorn trees, a cheetah crouches alone in the shade. Her sleek body rises and falls with each breath, exhaustion threatening to overtake her. She had sprinted earlier, chasing a young impala with the elegance and desperation of pure speed, but the impala escaped by a heartbeat. That heartbeat now stands between her hunger and her survival. Unlike lions, who hunt in groups, cheetahs rely on precision and agility. Every failed chase costs them precious energy. Her flanks tremble as she cleans her paws, trying to gather her strength. Not far from her, her three cubs wait hidden in the tall grass, their faint mews drifting in the wind. She must try again soon. The plains do not pause for pity. A short distance away, the earth trembles with the thunder of hooves. The great migration is beginning its restless shift, millions of wildebeest moving in a dark, heaving river of life across the plains. Their calls rise like a storm, echoing through the land in a chorus of urgency and instinct. Dust rises around them in swirling clouds, turning the air into a hazy spectacle. Zebra herds move alongside them, their black and white stripes rippling like waves. Together, these animals create one of the most astonishing spectacles on the planet, a living tide, driven by the promise of greener pastures and the rhythm of the seasons. Predators lurk at the edges of this great movement, drawn by the certainty of opportunity. A lone hyena trots along the periphery, its head bobbing, its ears perked. Misunderstood and often underestimated, hyenas are among the most resilient creatures in the Serengeti. They are opportunists, scavengers, hunters, survivors. The hyena lifts its muzzle, smelling the air. A calf has stumbled behind the herd, struggling to keep up. The hyena's eyes narrow. Before it can advance, however, a sudden roar splits the air. A male lion, his mane dark and heavy, emerges from behind a rocky outcrop. The hyena skitters backward, the tension electric in the space between them. The lion stands his ground, his golden eyes fixed, asserting his dominance. In the wild, power is not spoken, it is felt, radiating like heat. The hyena retreats reluctantly, glancing once more at the vulnerable calf before vanishing into the grass. The lion settles down, his tail flicking lazily, watching the migration pass like a king overseeing the movement of his kingdom. As afternoon melts into evening, the light softens and the air cools. The sky transforms into a canvas of warm amber and deep crimson, streaked with thin clouds glowing like embers. Giraffes wander gracefully toward the acacia trees, their long necks silhouetted against the fading sun. Their tongues curl around the sharp leaves with delicate precision. In the distance, hippos grunt as they slip back into the river, their bodies sinking beneath the water like disappearing boulders. At the river's edge, crocodiles lie motionless, their eyes half closed but always watching. They are ancient creatures, unchanged for millions of years, masters of patience. As the migrating herds approach the river, tension thickens in the air. The wildebeest gather at the bank, pacing nervously. The smell of danger is unmistakable. The water ripples, betraying the silent presence beneath. Then, suddenly, the first wildebeest leaps, and chaos erupts. The herd surges forward, driven by instinct and fear. Hooves splash wildly, water churns, and the air fills with frantic bellows. Crocodiles explode from the water with terrifying power, their jaws snapping shut around legs and throats. The river becomes a battleground where only the strongest survive. Some make it across, scrambling onto the far bank with heaving breaths. Others disappear beneath the surface. The drama is brutal, but it is also the essence of the wild. A raw reminder that survival is never guaranteed. As night approaches, the Serengeti undergoes another transformation. The sky deepens into a velvet darkness dotted with stars that burn like diamonds. A full moon rises, casting silver light across the plains. Nocturnal animals awaken, bats flutter from their roosts, jackals slink through the shadows, and owls glide silently from tree to tree. The temperature drops, and a cold wind sweeps across the land, carrying the distant roars of lions beginning their nighttime patrol. Near the same patch of tall grass where she had crouched at dawn, the lioness returns. Her belly is slightly fuller now, she has made a kill under the cover of darkness. Her cubs rush to her, nuzzling her face and climbing over her in joyous relief. She lowers herself to the ground, allowing them to feed. Her eyes remain open, alert, scanning the shadows for hyenas or rival lions. The moon lights her fur like polished bronze. Around her, the plains stretch endlessly, a land where beauty and brutality exist side by side. In a far corner of the reserve, a team of researchers observes the night through thermal cameras, documenting behaviors rarely seen in daylight. Their work is part of a decades-long mission to understand the delicate balance that shapes the Serengeti. Conservationists, biologists, and wildlife photographers have dedicated their lives to these plains, fighting to protect the creatures that call this land home. They know better than anyone that the wild is fragile. Climate change threatens rainfall patterns. Poaching threatens elephants and rhinos. Human expansion edges closer every year. Yet, even amid these challenges, the Serengeti endures. The researchers watch as a leopard descends silently from a tree, its spotted coat nearly invisible in the moonlight. It moves with a phantom's grace, each step a whisper. The leopard pauses near a burrow and listens, there is movement below. With a swift strike, it captures a small warthog piglet. The kill is swift, almost gentle. The researchers document the moment, knowing that every piece of data helps preserve this mysteriously beautiful ecosystem. Hours pass, and the night deepens. The wind carries 1,000 unsung stories, of hunts won and lost, of migrations that never stop, of lives beginning and ending in an endless cycle. Somewhere in the darkness, a newborn wildebeest struggles to stand on trembling legs. Its mother nudges it gently, her breath warm against its damp coat. Life in the Serengeti does not wait. The calf wobbles, falls, tries again. Within minutes, it is standing, blinking at a world both wondrous and perilous. By the time the first hint of dawn appears again on the horizon, the plains are wrapped in a soft mist. The lioness gathers her cubs, the elephants continue their steady march, and the great herds graze as though yesterday's perils were already forgotten. The Serengeti wakes once more, ancient and untamed, ready to script another day in the endless, magnificent story of life.